7 days, you were a slave by them giving you work to do, and then they feed you at night and give you a cage to sleep in. Now, they give you work to do, but they give you money at the end of the day to buy your own cage and food.
Hey, what's up guys, this is Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa, and I'm bringing you guys another installment of Market Masters, where I sit down with the most prominent and talented traders in the game, and you guys know I'll just bring great traders for you to come and learn from. And a big shout out to our sponsor OctaFX, which you guys will hear about later in the video. Yeah, and today I've got a very esteemed guest. I've got Henry Eckhurst. No, I said it wrong. Eckhurst. Hi, how you doing?
Good on you, man.
Nah, that's great. Thank you so much for coming out.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah. We actually met a couple of days back. Henry was like, "Hey, can I just pop by quickly?" And only to find out that we're not far from each other, actually. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great conversation, and yeah, it's such a stand-up guy, and I'm excited for today's chats as well.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be a good one. Like I mentioned to you guys, it's a big privilege to be on. So excited.
Yeah. Yeah, how you doing?
Good, and you?
Yeah, no, I am great. I'm great. Yeah, things are good. I know you've been very busy lately.
Yes, we've been loaded with some stuff, but I mean, the cool thing about being busy is that it basically gives you more time to do less, and that helps you wind down on stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, especially with business and trading, I think the busier you get, the better you can perform.
Yeah, a busy man is a paid man.
Yes, have to be.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so today we're here because you're a trader, and I think we're gonna get into how the whole market as well, how you trade, where you come from. But we're gonna start with a little bit of history, give a little bit, because people might not know who you are. So we just want people to get to know you. I want to get to know you as well, and then just give us like a bit of background. Who is Henry, and where does Henry come from?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so look, I started in matric, started dabbling with trading and stuff, and like I've told you back then, the reason we started trading was someone said that you could buy a robot, and I know robots are big now, but back then it wasn't.
Yeah.
You could buy a robot that could produce you $5,000 a week if you invest like $100. And me and one of my best mates thought, yes, well, this is a surefire way to get rich. And we wanted to do it, and we decided, no, we're going to invest in this, but we didn't have the money. So at the end of the day, we never bought a robot, which I'm very thankful for now.
Yeah.
But we went to varsity and started experimenting with ways to make money. And we met someone upstairs in our apartment that basically he was trading. So he was a young guy driving a BMW, and we were all like, yes, what does he do? Either drugs or he does something. And basically he told us, no, he trades. He invited us down to his flat one night and said he'll fund an account for us and he'll trade it. And there was a news event happening. I'm not sure what event it was. And he traded this event with $1,000 and made 3 for us. So we took that, and we took that 3,000. He gave us like an ebook, a course.
Wait, so he made money for y'all?
Yeah. He basically just said, because I said to him, I don't believe he can. And he said, he'll prove it. He'll fund an account with R1,000 and make money, and we can keep all of the profit.
Sure.
So he traded the 1K and made 3K for us.
Okay.
And then actually gave it to us, but he had it in cash. So he just gave us the cash and said, there you go. gave us a course.
Yeah.
And then basically that's where the journey started. So we started trying to learn how to trade, and that's when I started to follow. Before that, I didn't follow anyone.
Okay.
Started following traders on social media, started seeing more and more of it. And at this time, I was running a nightclub in Porch. So I had some extra money, had some extra time, and I thought, yes, well, let's try this, because this is a way we can get rich quickly.
OctaFX has launched a renaming campaign and rebranded as Octa. The campaign aims to showcase the brand development, including diversification of trading instruments for clients and implementation of new product features to make trading clear and accessible for everyone. Their simpler name reflects their goal of making trading easy for everyone. This change is also part of a larger transformation as a financial service, as they wish to stay ahead in the fintech industry. Now, don't be afraid. your account won't be affected by the campaign renaming. Your account details and data will remain secure and unaffected by the campaign renaming. Your information is confidential and is handled with the utmost care, as always. To celebrate Okta renaming, I'm going to give you the TTSA promo code TOPTRADER for 100% bonus to your deposit. The link is in the description. Trading made clear with Okta. Yeah.
Is what I thought.
So you were studying and running the nightclub as well?
Yeah. So I worked part-time there.
Okay.
Ran the nightclub and then studied there as well.
Yeah, what
and
were you
then
studying?
Sports science.
Sports science.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know what to study, and then I decided to study sports science, which was a big mistake. But
Really?
yeah, there's no work. If you're in SA,
Yeah.
I mean, in the US, you can still find proper paying jobs, but in SA, you basically end up being a teacher at school for
Sure.
sports subjects.
Oh, I see.
So there's really no future in that.
Yeah,
if you do it.
It's quite shaky.
Yeah, it's and even if you want to become a rugby coach, I mean,
Yeah.
when you get 40, 50, you have one chance to now get into the coaching scene.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are the only guys who actually earn proper money.
Sure.
So my biggest concern was money. So I studied that for a year to decide what I wanted to study. And then it ended up being not a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I could focus on trading and running the nightclub. So
Yeah.
I kept at it instead of transitioning into something else.
Okay.
And basically just wasted money and time.
Yeah, okay. So now you're studying, you're working part-time, and now Forex has been introduced into your life.
Yeah, so we saw him make money and we thought, yes, we can definitely, because I think everyone thinks this when they start. We thought we could definitely make R1 million a month with our 1,000 rand and just get going, because this guy just made 3K in a day.
Yeah.
So started following traders, started checking everyone out. And then the first thing we saw was obviously courses. People selling courses, and they're driving BMWs and they're doing this and they're doing that. So our first thought was, okay, let's buy a course. So we bought our first course after that free course we had. We made some money, but not a lot. Bought a course, then lost money after the first course. Then we thought, no, it's just the wrong course, like everyone else does. Then we bought another course and another course. And eventually I've spent probably well over 60,000 Rand on Forex courses.
Sure.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. And every time I bought a new course, I came back more confused, didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I was mixing all of it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I never made money from any of the courses that I bought. And it just didn't help. But we kept at it. And then after school, or after varsity, however, I decided we're going to go full-time into trading. And we were doing well. We had built up a nice account. We had some money in the account. We were trading. And then the one day, we sat at our friend's house. We were trading full-time.
Okay.
That's what we called it. And we opened up a trade. We were running about 30K profit for that specific trade. And we wanted to close it out because, I mean, we just made 30K in a day, which is good for a 21-year-old. But I convinced my friend that we would make 70K with that trade. So I said, no, don't close it out. Let's just leave it. Let's remove the stop because it's going to win, apparently. And let's just do it, go for it. And then as we walked to the bathroom from there, I just heard that MetaTrader sound in the background. Going down, going down, going down. And I knew what was happening, but I was like, it's impossible. So we walked back. And because we took the stop loss off, our whole account was empty.
Sure.
So we lost everything. And then from there, we obviously tried to get back into it. Started thinking, yes, how can we get some money again to trade?
Yeah. Sorry, we'll get back to that. But no, you know what? I actually just want to sit and camp on the course buying. Period of your life. I think that's very important. I think that's where a lot of people now kind of, because it's not about finding the holy grail course, you know, and there's no such a thing as a holy grail course. And a lot of people right now, we know now, people have easy access to courses. And just because you have easy access to courses or to everyone's course, doesn't particularly mean you should go get everyone's course as well. So right now you're paying for courses one after the other. You know, I just want to talk about, after you buy a course, what was your thought process?
Going into the...
going into each course, like you buy a course, okay, and then you go into the next one.
Look, I think the biggest thing that makes people buy courses is social media.
Okay.
So I think, me personally, if I had to do that, I would buy a course and then delete social media until I'm profitable. Then I'll come back. Because what happens is, as soon as Instagram obviously has the algorithm that shows you more of what you watch.
Yeah.
So the more you watch traders, the more it shows you traders. And every time I would buy a course, we would take a trade. And this is the other thing. When I bought a course, we would run through it as quickly as possible because we want to learn how to trade tomorrow.
Oh,
so you run
see.
through it, you skip some of the videos because you already know how support and resistance works and trend line. So you just want to see they always, I don't know why, they always have this title on a specific video that's the Holy Grail or the full setup or whatever, which is the big video that shows you how to do everything.
Yeah.
So I'd always skip to that, watch that video, and then immediately after that, go look for a trade.
Do you think you did yourself an injustice in terms of skipping stuff during each course?
Yeah, definitely. Because I even think bad courses, if you watch the whole thing,
Yeah.
you'll understand the thought process.
Okay.
And if you understand the thought process, you'll know if it's going to work or not.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it doesn't matter how bad the course is. If you see what they do from step A to step Z, you will know if it's going to work or not. Because you can see, no, man, this guy's just doing the basics that I already know.
Okay.
And you probably won't buy another course then. Because then you see, okay, this guy taught me the same as this. Why would I buy another one? But because you skip stuff and you just go to that fancy video that they give you, the secret fib guide or whatever, then you want to buy another one because someone else has a different edge on the market and you want to check that out.
Yeah.
So I think that's my biggest thing that I did to myself was skipped, watch that, and then want to force a trade the next day or the same day. When you finish it, you're like, I want to see if it works. So I'll force out a trade, not following, even if the course is wrong, you still don't follow their rules. If you don't follow the wrong person's rules, I mean, bro, you're probably going to lose money.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
that's exactly what we did. So we'd buy a course, do it, finish it, force out a few trades. No, it's not working. Okay, but this guy looks as if it's working. Buy another course, force it, and that just kept on going. And the more we would buy courses, the more we thought it's because we're buying the cheap ones, so buy the more expensive ones, just to find out most of the expensive courses have less info than the cheap ones, because the cheap guys are probably new on the scene, so they put in more effort for you to get on. The expensive guys are making a killing. I mean, they don't care, so they just run it up, whatever they want to charge, 15K for the course, and they have a few pre-recorded videos, and there you go.
Yeah. What's the most expensive course you've bought?
I think probably 20K.
20K?
Yeah, for one single course.
For one single course?
And that was probably the worst course I ever bought.
You lie.
No, I promise you. It's all of the basics.
Okay.
Just broken up into smaller pieces. So like support and resistance will be support and resistance, and then psychological levels, which can be one thing.
Yeah.
And then trend lines, and then counter trend lines, and then so they just made it a bigger course by splitting everything. Instead of explaining everything together, they'll make a video about support and resistance, then psychological, then supply and demand, then trend line, then counter trend line, then fib, and then a separate video for fib extension. So I mean, it's all of the knowledge you already have just mixed up into a big course.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help you at all because it's just the basics.
You know, you're somewhat of a course buying expert right
look,
now.
if you want to know if a course is going to work, you can ask me. I probably bought it, so I mean, I'll be able to tell you.
Yeah. Okay, so you so the 20K you spent on the course, and then why did you feel like it didn't work? Did it work for you? Yes.
No,
or no? It did not. Why did you feel like that? Because right now we're saying that every course kind of works.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think it's because you're not committed to giving it a chance. I mean, if you lose 4 trades on a course, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. You just lost 4 trades. Even if you have a 50% win rate, you can still win if your risk to reward's fine. So we just didn't give it enough time, first of all, and we wanted to jump from the one to the other and mix courses. I mean, I would apply everything that I learned from everyone into one big course and then put it all together. So that also, it doesn't work because you don't work. It's not necessarily that the courses don't work. It's just you don't give them enough time or patience. I mean, the guy created the course probably has been doing that strategy for a while, not for 1 week like we did.
Yeah, that's
so that's how he knows it works.
Yeah.
We don't, because we like after a week, no, it doesn't work. Who's the new guy we can buy from?
Yeah.
And then there we go.
You know, I like what you've said right now, the mixing of courses.
Yeah.
You know, that's so important. what does that do psychologically to one person? Like the mixing, buying several courses or studying several courses.
No, it's crazy. It's hectic because whenever someone says something in a course that you just looked at another one, you'll disagree without even knowing it. Because if Q Banks just said that this is how a support and resistance looks, and how Astro FX says this is how it looks, then I'm gonna be like, no, but Q said it doesn't. So then you skip it and you just write it off. But you have to apply that to see what they are seeing in the market. You can't apply someone else's thought process into a new strategy that you're trying to craft. And that's the other thing, talking about strategy. When you do a course, the main reason for the course is for you to build out a strategy to trade.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. We just basically looked at it and saw, okay, you need to do that to trade. But there was no building plan. So there was no plan to say, wait for this, then trade. This is your risk to reward. This is this, this is this. We had no rules. So it was just see something, create a setup by adding a few lines onto the chart.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can make a trend line on anything and a support and resistance. If you look far enough, you'll find points for that line to be there.
That's
and
so
you'll convince
true.
yourself.
Yeah.
So you need to understand the thought process. I think that's why psychology is so much bigger. And a lot of people say psychology is the key, which it is, but people dismiss it because they're like, no, I need to understand technicals. But you need to understand, first of all, your mind and their mind, whoever's teaching you. You need to understand how they think about the setup, how they look for it. Because at the end of the day, you need to be on the opposite end of the other 99% that are losing.
Yeah.
So if you just do it because there's a line, I mean, you're probably going to lose money anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially with all of these new concepts coming out, because the bank buys here, so you have to buy here. People never know when the bank's buying. That's it's such nonsense. At the end of the day, they never know when the bank's buying.
Yeah.
But they have all of these concepts, and it's just thought process. Knowing yourself is going to make you a way better trader than knowing any course. If you do 0 courses, but you understand your mind and you just learn yourself and teach yourself on the markets, you'll trade better than 99% of people, because you need to know where your risk appetite is and then how you manage risk. Because the biggest thing is managing that trade.
Yeah.
I mean, most people's trade goes into profit and then drops. It's not always just the direct drop. So if you see that you're losing every trade after you go into profit, close when it gets to that profit point, and you'll still be profitable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now we're getting into it. So let's get back to that story. Yeah, because this course buying thing, everyone's just chasing the latest thing, and it's frustrating.
It is.
Especially it's frustrating to watch from the sidelines as to how everyone now is like chasing the new and it's not about the strategy, because people want to buy they want to buy a strategy, and like, what's the strategy going to do for you? You know, when you buy a course, it shouldn't be about the strategy. It should be about all the information that's within the course for you to be able to learn and you know, widen your horizon. Yeah.
And also, I think we did that.
Can you just pull the mic to you?
We basically did that. We didn't buy a course or a strategy. We bought the lifestyle.
Oh.
We would see Jason Noah driving a fancy car and be like, we want that. So whoever else has a fancy car, let's buy their course, because if they can drive that car, we can trade like them. But that's not the case, because if you're chasing the lifestyle, then you're not actually interested in what they're doing in their trading. You just want to live like they do, so you will force everything out of what they do. When you see their strategy, you'll be like, no, okay, we need to do this because then we can get this amount of money. But if you just focus on getting a strategy that wins and doing it incrementally, so just 5% a month, 10% a month, whatever, not 500% a day, I think you'll win on any strategy, even if it's not someone that's very knowledgeable, because you'll figure it out by testing it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's get back to the story now. Now we just spoke about the 40K account, and then you lost everything from there, and then life goes on. And
so after we lost all of the money, we basically sat at home and we were like, okay, how are we going to get back into it? And we discussed what we can do, because we saw everyone selling signals, everyone selling courses. So we were like, maybe that's the move. let's sell a course, let's sell signals, because then we'll have money to trade again.
Yeah.
And because of our guiding principles, we were like, it's not ethical to do, and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that.
Okay.
So my mom basically said, okay, well, you need to go find a job now, because you're sitting in.
But why didn't you feel comfortable doing that?
Because we just lost everything. I wouldn't be able to sit there and say because we lost. I took a heavy hit in my confidence.
Yeah.
I was convinced I couldn't trade anymore.
Sure.
So when we lost everything, I was like, there's no way we could possibly tell someone we can teach you how to trade, because we just lost all of our money. So if I tell someone I can teach you how to trade, then I shouldn't be telling them we just lost all of our money, but I'll show you how to not do that.
Yeah.
Because I just did it.
Yeah.
And it basically just came back to our Christian principles to say, look, it's not right to do it, because we know there's a lot of money. Most of the course selling guys make a killing on their courses.
That's so true.
So we knew there was money in there, but I thought to myself, would I feel comfortable if someone that I'm teaching how to trade loses their whole life savings because they invested it and I said I can teach them.
Yeah.
If they then lose their whole life savings, would I be able to 100% say, sorry, man, you just made a mistake? Or would I be like, that's my fault because I did it. Now I taught them. Now they did it. I would feel too responsible for them losing all of their money. So basically ended up saying, okay, well, I'm moving away from trading now because clearly I can't do it. After one loss, I mean, that's also where psychology comes in. We took one big loss and that was the end of it for us. We were like, no, we can't trade because we had one loss.
Sure.
One big loss. We had losses before that.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
never like the account.
Yeah.
And my mom said, well, you need to find a day job. And went for that, started looking for day jobs. And because I studied sports science, I didn't have a degree that could get me a proper job. Even though I went to varsity, I was just making a killing on the Forex. And now all of a sudden I have zero money. I have nothing. So applied for jobs and eventually got a job. They called it a supervisor
Okay.
at a warehouse.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I was just packing boxes with the rest of the people. I was the supervisor, but
Of the pack, you were supervisor of packing
the boxes. So I mean, I was supervising the tape.
Yeah.
So I basically went for that job, earned like 7K a month, which is nothing. I mean, you can't do anything on that. Had to move in with my grandparents to be able to stay somewhere, and I didn't even have money for fuel most of the time. Like I would have to ask them, can you please give me money for fuel? Because after a week, 7K is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't buy much with 7,000 Rand. So got there, still didn't want to trade, started working there. And then I saw the mentality of other people. That was my biggest shift, was seeing how other people in those situations, in those day jobs, how they think and how they operate. Because they were all satisfied. They were like, we're only earning 7K, but I mean, that's life. Not everyone can earn more, which I heavily disagree with. I don't care where you're from any place in the country with any amount of money. I believe you can make more money than everyone around you. So we didn't see eye to eye on things because they were like, you have to just stick. Because I used to speak to people about this, but have you traded? Have you tried business? Have you done this? And they're all like, no, that's not for us. We meant to be here, do a day job. And I disagreed so much with it that I couldn't get it over. So we just kept talking about it. And eventually at work, we had a group of people who started trading again. So we were all trading again and tried to start businesses. And that's when it clicked for me where I was like, I can't stop. I want to because I just lost everything, but I can't. I physically cannot just give up on the dream of becoming financially free.
Yeah.
Even though I just lost everything.
Yeah.
And that's where everything turned around again. We started investing back into trading, but this time we didn't buy a course ever again.
Okay.
Because we had a bunch of courses. We just basically started looking at the markets, seeing what we could see. We didn't even revise any course again. So I looked at nothing. I just started opening the charts in the morning, looking at the daily 4 hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes and just try to see what can I see and predict it. And then I would say, okay, well, we'll have a move here or there and then wait for the end of the day. What happened? And then as I did that, I figured out what my edge is and what I'm comfortable with looking at on the charts. And that's where I crafted my strategy from. From there, I could then trade again. Because also now that I had a day job, even though I didn't make a lot of money, I wasn't reliant on the Forex money.
Mm.
So it was the thing to get me out of there, but I could trade with more patience because I was like, oh, if you earn 7K and you make 1,000 Rand extra, bro, it's like having R1,000,000 because 7K buys you nothing. Now you have a grand extra.
Yeah.
So I was just focused on making a bit of money every week. And that was where I was finally at the point where I could say, okay, now I enjoy trading.
Yeah.
Because even when we were making money, I didn't enjoy it because we were still chasing a better strategy. We were making money, but because I saw people making 100K a month, I was like, we need to get better, so we need to buy more courses. And now for the first time ever, I was like, I don't need to buy anyone's course ever again.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
Yeah, I actually want to touch on that because you'll find a lot of people find themselves in that position of losing everything,
Yeah.
like find themselves losing money, or let me just say blowing an account, not losing everything, but blowing so much money that they give up on Forex,
Yeah.
that they can't even, bear the thought of the idea of opening a chart again. And it happens to so many people. So I think just that whole process of after losing everything, and I think for the viewers, they also need to bear in mind is that when you got back into it, you already had that knowledge from then.
Yeah.
So you just didn't. You just decided not to open a course.
Yeah.
You opened the chart.
Yeah.
Because you had the knowledge already.
Yeah.
But didn't you feel like when you were getting back into it, didn't you feel like at that point you wanted to start all over again with the course? Just do one of the courses.
I did. So I thought, yes, let me pick one course.
Yeah.
And then, because at the start, whenever I would look at the chart, I would want to throw up. After I lost all of that money, when I looked at a chart, I would get sick. I would be like, I can't do this. And then when that feeling started to go away, I started looking at the charts just to get used to it. It sounds stupid, but I would just open the chart and predict in my head what's going to happen and then see it happen on the 1 minute chart.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, well, maybe you can still do this. Then I wanted to do one of the courses again. So I looked at all of the courses we bought and I thought, which one do I think would give me the highest probability of success if I started doing it again? And as I did that math in my head, looking at this one, I'm like, yeah, but this guy drives this. Okay, this guy makes this. I realized that there's no way the courses were going to help me because I look at it in terms of lifestyle. I don't look at what's in the course. And because that's my mindset, not everyone's like that, but because that's my mindset, I knew that it's the wrong move. I can't possibly do a course again because if I do a course again, then I'm going to look at it and be like, who makes the most money? I'm going to do their course.
Yeah.
And that's why I decided to not do it. Because if I focused on my lifestyle, I was only making 7 grand a month. So if I were like, how do I match 7 grand? That's a lot easier than saying, how do I buy a Ferrari like Q Banks? Just matching 7K is a lot easier. So I knew I had the knowledge. And I knew if I looked at the charts enough every single day, I would figure it out, even if I didn't have knowledge prior to that. Even if you just look at the charts every single day, try and see what's going to happen, multiple time frames, you'll eventually figure out how to do it. It's just about, it takes more time than you think. It's not going to happen when you buy your signal package or your course. It just takes time in the market. And I think that's the easiest way for anyone to start, at least. If you just have 1K to trade, you're probably not going to make a lot of money. So, I mean, why don't you just take your 1K and trade on your own? Figure it out. Because you're going to blow it whether you buy a course or not. People think if they're going to buy the course, then they're going to make 10K. But
and all that information is available for free on the internet.
yeah, I mean, yes, YouTube now with everyone doing SMC and ICT and it's all over.
Yeah.
So you can find info anywhere you want. And if you just look at the basics and then understand the market, you'll be fine. Because everyone has some block strategy or some fib thing or I mean, even back then I thought I had something. I was like, no, my thing is just using this or that, or using sessions, or using a fib. That's my key. But it's not. It's just that we just confirm where the market's going to turn. But I already knew that by looking at the market. So now all I do is just price action, and that works well. And I figured it out by sitting there lunchtime at the warehouse looking at the charts for like half an hour. On the 1 minute, I would just look what's happening. Where's it going to go? Predict. Okay, I'm wrong. Why? Okay, I see this. And it worked very well for me. So I didn't need to buy or do any courses again.
Yeah. So okay, you're earning 7K a month. You've gotten back. You still working, earning 7K a month. You've gotten back into trading now. Um, so the decision for you. So at some point you decide to leave your job,
Yeah.
correct? What influenced that decision, or what brought you to a point of like, okay, it's the right time for me to leave?
So while doing that, I obviously started. So my goal has always been with Forex to make enough money to go into business or property,
Okay.
because that's the end goal for me. So I had to think to myself, what would I prefer? What would I want to do for me to get to that point? So Forex was the easy way to build up some capital to do that. So I started a business as well, a marketing business, running with my Forex, because I wanted to test the two against each other, which one makes more. And the business immediately made more money than the Forex, immediately, because it's easier. It's a transaction,
Oh yeah.
and you can rely, and it sounds bad, but you can rely on other people's emotions to make money. Forex, you rely on your own emotions to make money. Business, you rely on other people's. So if you know how to use their emotions, you can make money. And that's what I figured out in the business sense. I was like, okay, well, now it's not just me. If I can provide someone something that really makes them happy, really makes them excited, they will buy it and I will make money from it. So I decided to do that. And I had both of these running against each other. And that's when I decided, yes, maybe I should go full time. But the thought of that kept me back again. So after this job, I actually went for another one.
Yeah.
I had to move on and get a new job. And I thought to myself, well, I've leveled up a bit. I don't want to earn 7K anymore because I'm making more with the Forex and the business.
Okay.
But I don't want to leave it because I'm scared. Because the last time I did, I lost all of my money. So basically got a new job after that. More in a sales position, because then I had more time and I could do more Forex and business stuff. And I moved on to that job. And that's where only at the second job did my trading and my business really start to take off.
Okay.
And it really started doing well and better. And I had extra money because now I was earning more, still not a lot, but earning more there. So I could risk more in my Forex.
Okay.
And this was before prop firms and stuff. So I mean, you had to still trade with your own capital. So I was still making 3 or 4% a day whenever I had a trade, but I also didn't trade every day because of my job. And I think that helped me a lot, because if you sit at home and you're a full-time trader from 10K account, which is stupid, then you will want to trade every day because you're not busy. So you're looking at the charts the whole time. You're watching the news. If I remember, I used to watch trader stories and see them post a setup. If they post a setup, it's already too late. But I would see them post a setup, go onto the chart, convince myself I can still enter, and then force a trade. I wasn't even looking at the charts, but now I want to trade because they are.
Yeah.
And having a day job blocked me from doing that.
Okay.
So that's why I would say, unless you have proper discipline and a lot of money, then you shouldn't be going full-time into trading before you know that you have something else as well. And I also wouldn't go full-time if I don't have a business, because I've done it. And then if you lose your trading account, you lose everything. This time around, I had a business and day job and trading. So trading was becoming more of a, if I need extra money, I can make it here, than I need to make money here because I need to survive.
Yeah.
And that's when it became fun, and that's when I could learn faster, because now I did not have to do a trade, so I could even just mark it on TradingView and watch it play out. And the confidence that builds when you market trade on, but you're not serious about it, and it still works out, that's when you get real confidence, when you're like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. And then you can start risking more.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was the account size while you were still like, because you moved from the one job, you got the
Yeah.
other job, and you said that now you could fund a bit more.
Yeah.
Like, because you know why I'm asking this question? Because you'll find that there are people who are still at their jobs who are considering the fact, hey, I'm not sure yet about what to do. Because some people see Forex and they're like, okay, I'm going to do this Forex thing. I'm going to quit my job
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I never recommend that.
Yeah.
I'm only say stay, like we had someone say is that make your annual income twice over.
Yeah.
And then go quit your job, and then you know you've got 2 years
Yeah.
to get Forex right. But I'm asking to you, putting this question towards you right now, because especially in terms of account size, because you find that somebody's at work right now, yeah, they're earning 15K a month, 20K a month, but as to how much to allocate to the account as well.
Yeah.
Like, how does one actually decide that what's a decent amount of money to trade right now and just make a little bit of extra income?
So I worked on percentage because
Okay.
I looked at actual hedge funds and what Forex gurus pitch you on is the lifestyle. What hedge funds pitch you on is the percentage growth of your money. So they just compare that to the bank. They just like, the bank gives you 9%, we give you 11. You pick. And people go to hedge funds, obviously. No one leaves all of their money in the bank. So when I saw that, it basically clicked something in my head where I was like, if I focus on trading like a hedge fund in terms of growth, then I'm going to already make more money than the bank. So then it's safe for me to say, and I don't recommend doing this, but then it's safe for me to say, put your whole salary in, because you're earning more interest there than you would in the bank. So you can still withdraw it if you need to use it, but that means your risk is a lot lower because you trade lower. Because I just want to make 11% a year on my salary. So when I put it in, I'm not going to risk 50% of my salary. I'll risk 1% for 3%. Because I mean, if you do that 4 days in a row, you already made 11% for the year. So I started looking at it that way, and I basically put an account together of 20 grand. So I put 20K into an account, and I traded on I physically risked 2% per trade. And I never put more than 4 trades in a single week. So I put 2% risk, and then my risk was usually 1 to 3. So I could make 6% on a trade. And I usually stopped it out earlier because I set myself so hard on the fact that I wanted to make 11% a year, that it's ridiculously easy to make 11% a year.
Yeah.
So when I had a trade do 4%, I could close it out without being concerned about, no, but I'm going to miss the TP, because I don't care about the TP, because I just want to make 11% for the year. And that's when my trading completely turned around. Because I mean, if I'm comfortable with closing a trade out at 4%, you know how easy it is to take 10 4% trades a month. That's 40%. So I mean, it was a lot easier for me to grow that way, because I wasn't concerned with making the 20K in the first month. I was concerned with making 11% over a year on my salary. And as that grew, I put more of my salary in. Every month I would be like, okay, now I can put 30% of my salary in. Because I also knew I could pull it out at any time, because I wasn't going to risk 50%. If I'm just risking 1% and I want to pull the rest out, I can. So that's basically how I set it up for myself to just get to the point where I'm growing, and that really worked.
Sure, that's smart.
Yeah.
And especially for somebody who's still working and is undecided whether they should pursue a career in trading. And we were sitting with some people the other day. They're like, I want to learn how to trade. I'm like, but respect trading. Respected in the sense of as if though you are going to study to be a doctor or a lawyer. This thing takes time. It takes so much time and patience.
There's a reason that hedge funds don't hire people because they appear on Instagram that they can trade. There's a reason for that, because it's not as easy as you think. It's doable, but it's not easy. And especially if you're aiming for those high numbers. Because I mean, I can guarantee anyone watching, if you just focus on making 11% a year, you'll be 10 times the trader you're going to be if you want to make 40% a month. Like it's a fact, because you're not concerned with making a lot. And people don't want to hear that, because they think that trading is going to take you from earning 2K a month to 40 in a month. And I don't think it was invented for that. I think it was invented just to get more income than the bank is giving you on your money. And that's why I was comfortable with putting my salary away into a trading account instead of the bank account, because I could still pull it, but now I can make more on that money than I would in the bank.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
I just think
that mindset, mindset.
And that's the thing I had to work on. And I think that's why I was meant to go work at a day job where I got 7K a month.
Sure.
Because I understood the value of money a lot more, because now I had nothing. I had to lend money from anyone I could. So at that time I was like, okay, now you understand why you need more money, and now you understand why you can't risk the money you have. Because I couldn't go out and risk 50% back then, because then I have 3.5. What are you going to buy with 3.5 grand of milk? I mean, it's ridiculous. So I had to force myself to change my mindset, and that's where everything changed. I think mindset's the biggest thing, and no course at this stage that I know of teaches you mindset. It's a battle you have to have with yourself, because no one understands you like you do.
Yeah.
So you need to have that battle with yourself to say, okay, I'm going to figure out what I think of and then use that to my advantage. Because I heard a quote a while back that said, your mind is basically like a factory, but the workers in your mind listen to your instructions to the T. So if you take a warehouse, for instance, with a bunch of workers in, if they believe and listen to everything you say without a doubt, if I tell this whole warehouse of workers, I don't think we can do this, I think it's risky, I don't think we should, none of them are going to do it. The workers are going to sit. They're not going to do anything. And the quote basically explains your mind is the same. Once you pump negative thoughts and anxious thoughts into it, your whole mind becomes anxious and it shuts down. It's not going to do anything. So when you look at trading as well, if your mind is loaded with anxious setups, so setups where you need to make 100K now, where you need to make 10K from this 1K now, your brain basically switches off and your analysis goes with it, because now you're not thinking as clearly as you should, because your mind is like, I don't want to do this because I need to make 10K, but I'm going to lose the 1K. And when you get into the mindset of, I don't need to, I can just risk 1% to make 3%, that's a more positive enforced thought, because your brain doesn't see the risk associated, because it's, 1%, and it sees the upside as this is a good win to have. So you're in a positive space and your mind actually works. You can still think clearly.
Yeah.
And that also changed everything for me, just knowing that.
Yeah. I want to talk about accounts blowing, blowing an account. Have you blown it? You have blown it, of course you have. But I actually want to talk about the negative effects that come from seeing constantly, because and I'm going to say this to people, the more you see an account getting blown, it's so normalized today to blow an account, because it's just like, I'll fund it again. I'll fund it again. But what that does psychologically to so many people, it does so much damage that people don't realize. Now, imagine right now, yes, you might think that it's small money. No, I just put 2,000 Rand there. But looking at those numbers go down, looking at margin call happening, psychologically, it really affects a person. Now, going down somewhere down the line, now you've got 500K in an account, and you think habits that you've built up from way down there. Yeah, so psychologically, that's just how I see it. I don't know how you see it for people when they blow accounts. I think it's just been normalized.
Yeah, it is. It's very normal now, because everyone says, and I've been guilty of saying sometimes, you're going to blow account anyway, so just know you're going to. And it's a bad thing, because most of the time it's true, but it's a bad thing to say because you enforce it in someone else's head as okay, which it isn't. We should still be like, you shouldn't be blowing accounts, regardless of if you're new or not. But because we know it happened to us, we enforce it in other people, and we're like, you're going to. But the key is, and a lot of people will say this, if you can't manage 1K, like you said, if you get 500K, you won't be able to manage it. And that's why that whole concept of 11% a year for me is so important, because it teaches you to manage small money. Because now it's not focused on a number, it's focused on a growth percentage, which is a lot easier to manage. To manage 11% on 1K is a lot easier than to say, I want to take 1K to 10K. And when you blow your accounts the whole time, it's because that's not in place. There's not a certain percentage you're looking to make, or if you do have a percentage you're looking to make, it's 500% or 5,000%. So it becomes a lot more unattainable, and then that's why you blow accounts. And if you keep blowing accounts like we did, that's when the risk factor falls away, because we blew probably 10, 20, 1K accounts before we had that big one.
Okay.
So that's why when I took the stop loss out, it was almost as if I wasn't thinking, because I was like, we've blown accounts before. So we used to it. But now you don't think about that physically, but your mind does. Your mind's like, you always blow accounts, so it doesn't matter. So that's why I could take the stop loss off and be like, it's in profit, we'll be fine. And then walk away, and then it blew the account. Because you've normalized it for yourself. You're like, it's going to happen. So if it happens, we always start over. And that's something I told myself a lot. I'm like, if it happens, I've always started over, we can do it again. Which is a bad mindset to have, because you're programming yourself to lose. So I think I don't know how we do it, but we need to get that thought out of people's minds of blowing accounts not fine.
100%.
Even if it's 200 rand, it's still
Yeah.
not fine because you can't manage money.
Hmm.
And that's what trading is, money management. So if you can't manage 200 rand, there's no way you're going to manage 2 million. I don't care what you say. No, but then I can risk less and make more. That's the whole point. You should be able to risk anything and make anything, but you can't because you just want to make 10K on 1,000 rand, but you're convinced if you have 1 million, you're going to also be okay with 10K, which isn't realistic.
Yeah.
So I think risk management is a big one.
Nah, well said, well said. Sure. Yeah, okay. So you work. So did you eventually leave your job?
Yeah, so I only left probably 3 years after the first one. So I kept at it for as long as I could.
Okay.
Until I got to the point where I was like, okay, I physically cannot do it anymore. I can't work for someone anymore because I hated that. I hated working for someone. Although it taught me a lot, I hated doing it and I couldn't do it because my mindset is that they determine your whole life. So I feel like in the olden days, you were a slave by them giving you work to do, and then they feed you at night and give you a cage to sleep in. Now they give you work to do, but they give you money at the end of the day to buy your own cage and food, but you still come back to work for them tomorrow. So my mindset's always been like it's as if you are still a slave. The only difference is now they give you the money to pay for your own cage and your own food. Back then they just shoved you in your cage and gave you your food, and they also only give you enough to come back tomorrow. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't work for someone because they determine the car you drive, the holidays you go on, when you can go on holiday, where you can be, who you can see. All of that gets determined by your day job. So I stuck it out for as long as I could. And then I decided, okay, you know what? The business is doing well enough. And this is the key. My business was doing well enough for me to go full time, not the trading. The trading was doing well, but I never put myself in the mindset again of I'm a full time trader. I wanted to be full time business because trading is in essence a business anyway. So I said to myself, the business is doing enough that even if I lose a trading account, I can still operate and I can still go on. But if the business is at a point where it's not making enough and the trading account's the only thing I'm leveraging off, if I make one stupid mistake again, then I have nothing again and I'll have to go back 10 steps again. So only when my business was at a point where it was enough to fund me and to fund my trading, then I was like, okay, now I can go.
Sure. Yeah. So you basically took your Forex, and I think again the purpose of trading is to fund your other ideas, you know, and I think that's the smartest way to go about it because it's not guaranteed.
No, not at all.
But nothing is guaranteed in life. But I think it's all about probabilities at the end of the day. And I like what you did by taking money, starting a business. And I think that's what a lot of people need to start doing is that when you make money from Forex, business.
And that's what we try and teach on my TikTok account is this whole thing of, because I took money and I bought a Biltong Shop. So now I had the marketing and I bought a Biltong Shop with the Forex money because I actually went. So I went out. I test drove the GTI because I was like, yes, I've always wanted to make a GTI the fastest one in the country. So I went out, and this was probably a year ago. Went out, got the GTI. The guy said to me, look, you can drive it for 2 days. Go feel it out. So I took the GTI, drove it for 2 days, showed all of my friends and family, like, we can make this thing the fastest one in the country. And everyone was like, because up to that point, I didn't want to buy cars yet. And then that thing came into play where I was like, yes, okay, but I also want to drive cars now. So bought or wanted to buy the GTI, and I drove to one of my friend's business complexes because he has his own business. Parked there, he came out, he watched the GTI, he's like, yes, this thing's cool. And just said, I want to go actually show you something. And we walked to his office. As we walked to his office, one of the shops they were open. It was a Biltong shop. And I said, let me just buy Biltong. And as we walked in, this guy told us he wants to sell the shop. And I spoke to him and I was like, okay, for how much? And it wasn't a lot of money. So he said, no, he wants 80K for the Biltong business. And I thought to myself, I'm like, 80K for small Biltong shop's not going to work. So I counter offered him, told him, look, if I buy it for 30K, would you be fine with that? And we negotiated a bit and got to a number that was happy for both of us. And when we got to that number, I decided to not buy the GTI and buy the business instead. Now that took a lot from me to say, I'm not going to buy the flashy car. I'm going to drive the normal car, and I'm going to buy a business that in essence can pay for my GTI tenfold. Because that's the moment I realized that I was at the point where I could say, I would rather have something pay for my GTI than have me work for my GTI.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's where most traders go wrong. They want to make enough money to buy it cash and then have it and then drive it and then buy the next one cash. But if you invest your Forex money wisely, your business will pay for your lifestyle. And that's when Forex becomes fun. And when it becomes a point where you can say, I just want to make 11% a year, because you don't need that money. Your business is paying for your lifestyle. So most people that trade Forex want the lifestyle. And I think the best way, the most realistic way, is by investing your money into businesses. And I decided to do exactly that. So I didn't buy the GTI. I bought the Biltong business rather. And it gave me a beating at the start. Like, it honestly gave me a beating.
I like that.
At the start, I
Yeah.
would drive past GTIs and be like, bro, you should have bought this GTI because this is nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually it came up to the point where it did well enough for me to buy the GTI. But I basically got that whole thing out of my head. But by the time I wanted to buy the GTI again, I was doing well enough mental health wise. I didn't need anyone's approval. I didn't need anyone to see me driving a GTI anymore, because I was now actually running a successful business. So I didn't care.
Okay.
And I think that's the other thing is, once you reach your level of success, so not everyone's success, your level of success, you care less about what other people think than you care what you think.
Yeah.
And if you think enough of yourself, I'm running a successful business, I'm making money, I do not need anyone to think I'm making money. They can think I have zero. When I go to the shop, I swipe without asking questions. So when I got to that point, I basically gave over the business to my grandpa and grandma to keep them busy.
Okay.
Although the goal was to buy the GTI from that, I decided, oh, you know what, I don't need it. I don't care. Gave the business to them, kept a small percentage, and that's when I went full time. When I gave the business over to them, I decided, okay, now it's time to pursue something bigger. And because of my experience in the trucking, transport industry and marketing, I mixed all of that together, and that's where Truck Flow came from. And that's what I started doing then after that, and trading.
And trading.
Yeah.
So what are some of the, okay, so now your life, you're trading right now, you're a business owner, which is good. You know, I heard you talking about your businesses the other day, and I like the fact that it has been funded by the trading as well, you know, and also you buying a business as well, you know, and even buying businesses, you know, not all businesses work out. And I myself have registered and started a few businesses which have failed, but life moves on. We continue, we keep it moving. So what are some of the characteristics of a profitable trader?
Yes, well, I think the biggest one is patience.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one is patience. Because if you have that, and I mean, I still struggle with that to this day. Patience is my biggest, because I want things to happen fast at the rate and even in business, I want it to happen at the rate I want it to happen.
Yeah.
So I think if you want to be a profitable trader, you need to be patient, and also your ego should not rely on other people. Ego is not always bad. But when it relies on other people, it is bad. So I think if your ego relies on other people's opinions, you'll also not trade well, because I'll want to hit a 40K trade just to put it on my story. I wouldn't want to hit a 40K trade because I want 40K.
Yeah.
I would just want you to know that I have 40K. And that's also, so I think if you can take your ego out of it and you can be patient, I think those two things alone are all you need.
Yeah.
I think if you're just patient and not worried about other people, you'll be more profitable than you could ever imagine.
Okay. So let's get to the trading. What is your approach to the markets? When you open the chart, what are we looking at first?
So I usually start on daily. So I'll open daily, and the first run through I give to my time frames are just watching, no markups, nothing. So just watching. So I'll start on the daily, look at the market structure, look where we pushed the last few days, and also not zoom out and go back.
Okay.
Like I want the last few days of data, because when I swing, it's different, but I don't swing as much anymore because I have time to day trade. So I'll look at the last few days' data, see where the market is heading, and then look at today's candle, depending on the time, obviously. But look at today's candle. Then I'll move over to H4, see if there's market structure there that gives me any indication. Then move to H1. On H1, I'll usually start to look for lines that I can see where the market's turning, trend lines, all of that. Then I'll go back up to daily and then start marking off. So I'll just usually mark off the last 3 days just to see last 3 days were bullish, bearish, whatever they may be. And then look if there's any point of reference back. Because I do just price action and market structure, I want to see if we formed a lower low, lower high, whatever the case may be. Then moving over to H4, that's where I'll add more detail onto it. So look why in the last 4 days we've been running in the direction we've been running, and look for any trends that I see. And then from there, H1 is usually just observation. I just want to see if my H4 markings are right. So am I looking at the right trend, and am I looking at the right market structure? Did anything else form on H1? And then on M15 is where I usually really dive in. So if it's a trading day today, I'll obviously use my markings from H1, H4, and daily to see what I'm looking for. Am I looking for a bullish or bearish move? And then stick to that bias. And then I'll mark off sessions. So I'll have London and Asia from the previous day, because I usually want to trade into London or into New York.
Okay.
And then extend the lines over to the next session, because that gives me an indication from when the lower time frame market structure breaks. And that's where I'll look for plays into the higher time frame market structure. And what I found works for me is a lot smaller trades, but with minimal risk. So especially if I do GBP JPY, I'll look for 5 to 10 pip stop loss, which is very small, but I'll enter on the 1 minute.
Okay.
And I just want to run up a bit. So I just want to know where the market should be going, and then just run into that a bit, and I'll close my trade out. Because I don't need to always hit my massive TP, because usually your TPs are big, because you want the risk to reward. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Everyone wants their risk to reward to say 1, 2, 3. You don't always trade 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
Because for instance, I'll close out at a 2R or sometimes a 1R.
Okay.
If I'm happy with the number on the screen, I just close it out.
Yeah.
And that number is indicated by the percentage I said I want to make in a year, not in a day. So when I see that, I'll close the trade out. But the biggest breakthrough for me was sessions. Just monitoring the previous session helps me see where the market should be going. Because if you just mark it off with a few lines, like 2 lines, the high and the low, if you just mark the high and the low off, when it breaks through there, you can look for a retest to play into your bias.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a buy, if it breaks in London, it breaks out, you could be looking for a buy from that previous high from the Asia. So that for me is where I find all of my setups, and that for me is the best chart setup. If there's nothing else on it except a few lines from H4, H1, and then my session lines, then I'm golden. Then I know what to look for, because I can read into the bias because of the few years of experience that I have now. I know when to enter. I know when the setup looks good or not, and when the break is real of those lines. Because you'll see, if you just go back for a week's data and you mark off the highs and the lows of London session and look what happened in New York, there's a lot of fake outs, obviously. So I think experience plays into when to know if it's a fake out or if it's an actual break and retest. And then I can take the trade from there. So that's my whole setup.
Okay. Sure.
Simple as I can make it.
Break down. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You just I don't have any more questions, because you just like put it there like it's like this. Hope you guys heard it for yourselves. Yeah, but you don't teach. You don't do
No.
that.
I do, because we get a lot of requests on TikTok, especially, of people wanting to do a course, wanting to have signals, whatever the case may be. So we do give everything away for free. So I decided when my trading came back up, I decided that the biggest thing I want to fix in SA is the scammy part of the Forex industry, because everyone associates it with scam. If I get into a business meeting and the business owner knows I trade Forex, I promise you they have a bias against me, being like,
so
this guy
true,
is,
so true.
he's a Forex trader, he's not a business person.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot, especially with social media.
Mm.
So I want to change that perception. And the only way you can do that is by getting all of the traders in SA to invest their money into businesses and becoming successful. Because most people won't trade their whole life, but trading can be the key to their business success. So what we're doing is basically giving everything away for free. Everything I know about Forex. That's why I'm not scared to share my strategy with anyone. I'll tell them exactly what I do, because we want them to make money on Forex so that they can invest in a business. And hopefully, this is a selfish thought. My business can do work with their business and we can both make more money.
100%.
So we just give it away for free. I don't feel like charging anything for anything Forex related. But obviously, because we don't have a course, we don't do signals or anything. It's just we give the advice for free.
Sure, that's powerful.
Yeah.
No, that's powerful, and your heart is in the right place.
Yeah, no, we need to, because otherwise people are going to buy 10 of my courses and lose all of their money again.
Yeah, so what has been your biggest loss that you've taken? Is it that
Yeah, the big one, it was 90K, give or take, in a day.
But it's not particularly, when I refer to biggest loss, I never refer to it as like a monetary term, but just a loss where you felt like you lost.
Yeah, I think that day as a whole was my biggest loss, because that day is the day we obviously lost 90K, but on top of that, I lost all of my confidence. I lost my freedom in a sense, because I had to go look for a job. So I think that day changed everything in my life forever. And at that stage, I was also my ego was at an all-time high. And I think the reason I lost everything wasn't necessarily just because of my skill. I think it was something else. Because I was at the point where I thought I was better than everyone. I thought I was the best trader in SA. I thought no one could match me. None of my friends mattered. I was making a lot of money at 21 years old, and I didn't care what anyone said or think. So I basically had to get myself into a position where I'm like, no matter how much money you have or how much success you have, other people will always matter. And that has to be your guiding principle through life, to be like, I would never step on anyone to make money or bring them down for me to make more money.
Yeah.
And the only way I got there was by losing, basically, I say everything, but I mean, I was 21. I didn't have a house, a car, or well, I had a car, but not a house and a wife. And so when I say lost everything, I lost basically my confidence, my business at that stage, which was trading, and everything else going with that. So that day shocked me into a reality check where I was like, if I ever get to that point again, I would help people get to that point without being the guy who's like, I'm better than you. Let me show you how, because I can do it, you can't.
Yeah.
Now it's a thing of, let me show you how I do it. And if you do it better, you can show me. Or if you have something else you can show me, then I mean, let's do business together. So that day was probably the biggest loss for me, but I'm forever grateful for that, because after my dad died, I basically said to my mom, look, we lost everything back then, the house, the cars, all of it. And I said to my mom, I'm like, we will never be in this position again. I will make enough money that our family could not possibly lose everything. I'll make enough money that we could not spend it. And that day reinforced that. Not the same day, but after 2 years, thinking back about that day, that was the day it clicked, where I was like, I made this promise to my mom, now I need to keep it. And I'm not going to keep it by being an egotistical asshole that tells everyone, I don't even know if we can swear this, that tells everyone that I'm better than you, but I'll show you how to do it. And that it changed everything. So I'm grateful for that loss.
Sure. Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. And your most memorable trade?
Probably, it was a super small one, but the first trade back. So we were in the warehouse, and everyone was like basically calling bluff on me knowing how to trade, because we had a bunch of people in the warehouse obviously trying to do trading now, because I inspired the thought in their head of you can make money with trading. So we had a bunch of people who always lunchtime would sit and want to trade. And the first trade back, we basically sat there, we looked at the charts, and they were like, we don't believe you can do it. So I had to do like a live trade for them. At the time, I just had like $500 in the account. So I knew my best probability to inspire them to do this with me and have a team that we can work together would be to actually win a trade, regardless of the amount. because they didn't understand MetaTrader. So I could be like, you see, we won, but they wouldn't know how much. So I basically entered a super small position on the 500 Rand, like a 0.01 on GBP JPY. And I knew the trade was going to happen. I just could see it. But it was basically just the market was trending down and we just broke the low. So we were retesting. So I just entered a 0.01 trade on that. And instead of closing it out early, we got busy and we had to work. And I was like, the whole time I was thinking, oh man, I needed to already close this to show them it's probably going to hit stop loss. Because back then I didn't have the confidence. So I was like, oh, this is going to be horrible. And as we went back after work to the chart, there was no TP set, but the markets completely dumped, completely. And we were like on almost a 500 Rand profit on a 0.01 on GBP JPY. So the market completely dumped. And I think there was a news event that I didn't know of. So not all the credits to me. But that just showed me, it gave me the confidence to be like, okay, you're back. You can do this now. And that trade set me up to do everything after. Because I didn't use all of my knowledge. I just used the stuff I saw on the chart to trade. And that's where my whole strategy came from that day. That small 500 Rand trade completely changed everything because I was like, okay, I know how to do this again. And then I started to risk more.
Yeah, sure. Beautiful. How 500 Rand changed your life.
Yeah, that's crazy. 500 Rand into 2 million. No, I'm just kidding. It's not true.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are going to message me, how do we do that?
That's true.
Yeah.
They will message you,
No,
trust
definitely.
me.
I know, because I made a controversial video on TikTok as well about compound interest.
Yeah.
And the thing, I don't know if we can talk about this on the podcast, but
let's go.
the thing is, I made the video about the thought of compound interest, just to inspire the idea of compound interest in the form of effort as well, plays a massive role.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I try and preach is, more importantly than the money you make with trading is the skill of trading, learning patience, analysis, and risk management. Those three skills can transfer to anything in life, including business. And I think that's what gives me my biggest edge in business is I know when to take a risk, I know how to analyze the risk, and I know how to be patient for the deal to happen, not to be like I have to force the deal to happen. And that came from trading, 100%. So even if I made zero money from trading in my life, I would still be able to use the skill from trading. And that's what we try and inspire in people. So I made a controversial video about effort, but the video is basically, and this is my fault, titled 0 Rand to, or 1 cent to 5 million in a month. And there's actual stats that show you if you double your 1 cent every single day for 30 days in a row, compound interest, you can make millions from 1 cent.
Yeah.
And I showed the stats, I posted the pictures and said, here's the actual stats to show it's possible. But I didn't say, go and do that. I didn't say, and everyone thought it was a trading video because the hashtags were Forex hashtags.
Yeah.
So the backlash I got on that thing, I think the video got like 150,000 views.
Yeah.
And the backlash was ridiculous. Like everyone's like, the ignorant people were like, show me how. Do you have a course? Can you show me how to do this? I'm like, bro, it's not. And then the people who were hating on it basically commented like, there's no risk management to this trader. He's just selling a course. And I mean, I wasn't even selling a course.
Yeah.
And just comments about it's impossible. And in the video, I say, after I show the stats, I'm like, this video is not about doing it because it's unrealistic. This video is about compound interest in any area of your life, including effort, will add up and eventually it gets big. At the start, it's small and it looks impossible. At the end, it's big and it's more than possible.
Yeah.
That's the idea of the video. But just because I said 1 cent to 5 million, I had haters. And every time I would tell them, just watch the video again.
Yeah.
And you'll see they would not reply my comment. But I had like probably 200 people ask me if I can teach them how to turn 1 cent into 5 million.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, bro, everyone has the wrong mindset.
I know it's scary actually. Yeah, what smallest, like just the smallest phrasing of words can do.
Yeah, it's And I mean, the video got views because of the title,
Yeah.
because it said 1 cent to 5 million in a
Yeah.
month. And everyone's like, yeah, I want to see.
Show me.
If I could turn 1 cent into 5 million,
Yeah.
I would not show anyone how to do it, because I would just make a killing.
Thank you. There, right there. Like and I always say is, and it's wrong of me to always say this, but I always say is that, you know, if I had a method of making, let's say, 200K, 250K every week,
Why would I?
man, I would not be sitting here.
Exactly.
I love doing this. I would probably be sitting here, but like I would not, I would not be out here trying to sell something, because, and it's not about keeping people out or what.
Yeah, it's about you make enough.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm making enough now, mind my own business and
Yeah.
do what I do. But no, Henry, thank you so much for coming out.
No, cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I think I learned quite a bit today. Your story is so it's true, and I think there's so many things to your story that I think, especially for a lot of people who are still working the 9 to 5.
Yeah,
they can really take lessons, because people hear Forex, they like, nah, it's time for me to quit my job.
Yeah.
And I know so many people who don't recommend quitting the job.
I would never. I mean, if you don't have something set up, and at least, like you said, income for at least a year to give yourself some time, there's just no way. Because people buy funded accounts now, and they're like, okay, but I have 1 million rand to trade with. I'm like, yes, but can you manage 1 million rand? Because you can buy the biggest funded account on earth and quit your day job for it and still lose all of your money.
That's true.
Because, I mean, they have rules on that. If you have 1 million rand in the bank, there's no rule that says if you spend more than 10K today, we're taking your money back. So I think going full time, especially if it's just trading, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but if it's just trading, I would never recommend going full time, even if you're making a killing, because you need to reinvest that into something, because you need something that's going to be there for longer than your trading is going to be there. If I want to stop trading now, I can, because I run the business. But if I just had trading and I want to stop trading, it's not that easy, because I need the income. So I think, when you want to quit your 9 to 5, just think about it a bit.
Yeah, 100%. No, thank you so much.
Cool,
I appreciate you coming out. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa, and this was another episode of Market Masters, where I sit down with the most talented and prominent traders in the financial industry. And and a big shout out to our sponsor, OctaFX. Thank you. See you same time, same place next week. And